A Lobo freshman, Colin Neal, is still recovering from emergency surgery. Now he's at the center of a nasty Twitter attack. He's the son of head basketball coach Craig Neal, and as you recall, he was rushed to a hospital during Lobo's recent trip to Australia. The freshman tweeted this picture after he had an emergency appendectomy. Well, then one student from San Diego State University tweeted, quote, "Fingers crossed for further infection." Then, we're not saying we're rooting for the death of Colin Neal. We're just saying that we are not God and we are at peace with whatever happens. Their words, not mine. I can't believe I'm reading this. A third and final tweet called upon the Aztec god of death, saying, quote, "May your will be done in the life and death of Colin Neal. Amen." The very offensive tweets were later removed and replaced with apologies, saying the remarks were insensitive, that's to say the least. Officials at San Diego State say it was the work of just one student.
This is a time where it crossed that line, and we as an athletic department, we're not going to stand for that. We're not going to tolerate that. That's unacceptable.
A spokesman for San Diego State says that university respects UNM and Coach Neal, and everyone there wishes Colin Neal the best. Oh yeah, and they revoked the nasty tweeters' season tickets for both football and basketball. That's deserved. All right, hard feelings this morning between the Bernalillo County Sheriff and the mega church that helped him get elected. Sheriff Dan Houston is taking heat for his close ties to Legacy Church. It's where he used to be head of security and where he held the BCSO graduation and promotion ceremonies until last year. Well, now Sheriff Houston is taking heat from the church itself because of a Facebook post in which Houston accuses Legacy Church of betrayal. In the post, the sheriff says there is a movement to unseat him and give support for his position to someone else. Legacy's pastor, Steve Smotherman, says the post caught him off guard. He denies any sort of movement to unseat Sheriff Houston, but admits he is not supporting the sheriff as he runs for re-election.
I think some of the statements he's made in the past has caused me a lot of pause. And as a pastor, you know, I want to treat people well. I mean, that's what we do here at Legacy Church.
Now, according to a lawsuit filed by the sheriff's former attorney and spokesperson, Sheriff Houston called his secretary, and I quote, "a fat slob," and made another comment doubting another employee could have breast cancer because, and I quote again, "her breasts are so small." His words, not mine, supposedly. In the Facebook post, the sheriff says he never violated any moral or criminal laws as sheriff. He did not want to go on camera and talk with us about this story, but he says he stands by his post and every word of it was true. The sheriff has removed the Facebook post, even though he says others started posting their own agendas. Well, providing efficient and effective health care, that's the mission of the New Mexico Health Insurance Exchange, ensuring there is access to health care coverage and an adequate number of health care providers. To that end, the exchange is hosting an educational session at its board meeting in Albuquerque today, where the topic is the economics and delivery of timely, quality health care here in New Mexico. The talk begins at 10 this morning to the Marriott Pyramid that is north on San Francisco. Also today, you'll have your chance to support Operation Wounded Warrior and veterans here in New Mexico for a great cause. We're having a fundraising phone bank from 4 to 6 this afternoon right here on News 13. Stay tuned to donate to a good cause. Brought to you by the New Mexico American Legion Riders from Chapter 22. They will be the ones manning the phones. Help support the veterans if you can. A program in Albuquerque that's already helped more than 250 homeless folks is now reaching out to women veterans. Yesterday, the city announced the Albuquerque Heading Home project is branching out. The new Vets Heading Home program will help homeless women veterans find housing, a job, childcare, transportation, and mental health services. Lockheed Martin and Sandia National Labs are each donating $20,000 to help make this program happen. Local volunteers are vowing to increase that pool of money to $100,000 to help veterans who are getting home from war get back on solid footing.
So if we don't have an approach, as the mayor just described, a real systematic approach to this, Albuquerque will be in trouble.
The city is also hiring a coordinator to reach out to veterans who need these services. Well, the state of New Mexico is getting sued this morning, claiming the state discriminates against non-English speaking citizens and people without computer skills. These complaints filed against the Department of Workforce Solutions, which handles unemployment for the state. Workers seeking unemployment benefits can only file applications online in English. The complaint says Workforce Solutions has failed to let people know they can apply for benefits on the phone and in Spanish if they can't use a computer. Our 505, they are pesky and annoying. We're talking about mosquitoes and fleas. You know this, and All the rain that has come to the area has brought these pests with it, the flying annoyances, possibly carrying disease and definitely disrupting just about anything we try to do outside. News 13's David Romero is live in downtown Albuquerque. So David, what is up with the flies and the fleas and the bugs, my man?
Well, disrupting everything, including live shots, Matt, but not at this hour. Come back to us at 6 and they'll probably be buzzing around my head and be swatting them with scripts. But of course, this is a good time to be out right now because they're not as apt to be annoying. But wait till dusk, like I mentioned, and of course they will be up in the air. And here's a good time rather to give some precautions to tell people to avoid getting bit altogether. Now, the city's environmental health department says they've seen a dramatic increase in mosquitoes since the rains came in mid-July. Now, the city has about 18 different collection sites in the metro area. So far, each has shown a significant increase in the mosquito population. Now, those are monitored weekly. As part of the monitoring, the city also checks for signs that the mosquitoes may carry things like West Nile virus. So far, luckily, they say that has not shown up in the area. But the health department adds it's only a matter of time before it does. So here are some things you can do to help protect yourself and your family.
Around the home, we want to eliminate any type of habitat that might be there for mosquito development. So, flower pots that are holding water, empty buckets, even pet dishes.
And if you're one of those homeowners that has a very nice fountain or pond in the front of your home and you want to keep it that way, and you may think that it's attracting or making it a habitable space for larvae for mosquitoes, here's one way to get rid of that. The city is offering 3 locations around town where they give out a little fish called the gambusi fish, and and of course that's available for free for homeowners who want to put it in their ponds. Those little fish happen to eat the mosquito larvae, so it'll protect your home, or protect your pond rather, from being a habitable ground for those annoying little creatures. Matt, back to you.
All right, great idea, David. Glad the flies, fleas, and bugs are staying away from you. See you again in another hour. Now, there are also fleas you got to worry about. Watch out for them on you and your pets. And don't forget, more rain means more vegetation, more rodents, and more flying pests as well. Oh, and as Breaking Bad's Walter White knows all too well, getting rid of just one fly, that's easier said than done. But New Mexico is seeing an invasion of these critters as well, and yeah, that's thanks to the wetter weather too.
The flies this summer have been outrageous. They're in the restaurants, they're in our homes, they're in our backyard, they're all over.
Flies, what they need to develop as they're immatures, or the larvae, they need organic materials, something that's decaying, breaking down, but it needs to be moist. So when we were in drought conditions, those materials were drying out very quickly and we're not allowing for development of those flies.
Okay, basically the gist is flies need moisture. Flies can spread foodborne illnesses, so it's best to keep your food covered if you're outside, because you can't spend your whole meal just swatting them away.